So this is an important question that I'm sure many people are asking themselves, and it's something that's really scary to me, something that keeps me up at night. Just how much will the current health crisis destroy the economy? Now, you should also be worried about the health crisis itself. We're not like the idiots on CNBC here. I don't know if you saw that clip. I don't think we covered it on the show, but Rick Santelli, who was famous for kind of being one of the founders of the Tea Party movement, his rant kind of launched it. But he was saying, almost like the economy is more important than the health problem, and he thinks we should infect everybody with the virus so that we don't tank the economy. What? That makes no sense. But we have the health crisis and then another crisis of an economic crisis on top of the health crisis. And look at how much it could impact the economy and already has. So this was in NPR. The coronavirus pandemic has already started to hit American pocketbooks, with nearly 1 in 5 households experiencing a layoff or reduction in work hours, according to a new NPR PBS NewsHour Marist poll. As people stay home, avoid crowds, and cancel plans to avoid spreading the disease, it's rapidly causing a contraction in economic activity that is hurting a wide range of businesses. Restaurants, bars, hotels, and airlines are among the hardest hit industries, but the ripple effects of the drop in demand are expected to spread across virtually the entire economy. As of March 13th to 14th, when the new poll was conducted, layoffs and reduced hours had already hit 18% of U.S. households. Wow, 18%. Lower income workers were the most affected. A quarter of households making less than $50,000 a year had experienced hour cuts or a job loss. So what we're looking at, guys, and if you think it's just this one poll, maybe it's not that bad. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said in an internal meeting with Republicans, we're looking at least 20% unemployment. JP Morgan Chase released their estimates. They say the economy is going to contract by 4% in the first quarter, then 14% in the second quarter, and then they say, I don't know where they get this from, an 8% growth and then 4% growth in the third and fourth. That's not happening. So we're looking at a situation where it's 20% of people. 20% of people. Those are Great Depression-like numbers. That's what those are. Some people say as high as 35% of people. And you wonder why Washington is panicking. Listen, they wouldn't in a million years consider a proposal like universal basic income unless they absolutely, positively, 100%, without a doubt, had to. And so that's where we're at right now. They're looking at a situation where they feel like they have no choice. Because what happens on April 1st? 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. What happens on April 1st? If you have a situation where like 20% of people are unemployed, what happens on April 1st when it's time to pay rent? People can't pay it. People can't pay their rent. People can't pay their mortgage. People can't pay their light bill. People can't pay their water bill. So what are you going to do? Are you going to evict everybody? Well, no, because now they're talking about we need to do a temporary moratorium on all evictions and foreclosures, which, listen, if there was ever a time to do it, it's a freaking pandemic. And that's what we have right now. So this situation is seriously unlike anything I've ever seen. It's way worse than 2008 and 2009, where unemployment got, I think, to 10%, 12%, that range. I should be clear, that's the official unemployment rate. The actual unemployment rate, which I believe is called the U6 or U7 unemployment rate, which is more accurate in reflecting the reality. You could basically double whatever the official rate is, and that's what the actual rate is. So, when it's 3%, it's actually 6%. When it's 3.5%, it's actually 7%. During the subprime mortgage crisis in the Great Recession, the official unemployment rate was about 10%, so it was really like 20%. Now, if we see 20% unemployment, that means really you have like 40% unemployment, which is why the government's like, all right, we might have to cut the UBI checks, dog, because we don't have a choice. People got to pay their bills. We got to give them a little something to get by. This is unprecedented. You could have the entire economy totally implode in the same way that the healthcare system is imploding right now because of the pandemic. So not good, guys. Really, really not good. And again, this needs to be taken seriously and looked at the same way that we look at the 1929 stock market crash and Great Depression, because we are on pace to look at an economic situation like that on top of the health situation and the pandemic.